Shabbat Shalom. My name is Mark Thompson, and I am very happy to be here tonight. Those of you who came expecting to see Rabbi Fox and Cantor Cooper, they are enjoying a well-deserved rest after the high holidays. And so they asked me if I would fill in. Just to give you a little background, I actually had my bar mitzvah at this synagogue. I won't tell you how many years ago, I'll let you guess. And my wife, Betsy, who was sitting there, she and I were married here. Our families go back 3 generations to Temple Israel. So I always love coming back here home, and when I have the opportunity to help out in conducting the services, it's always a great pleasure. So I want to welcome you tonight. For those of you who are looking at us virtually on Zoom, we welcome you as well. There is a Mishkan Tefillah, which you will have access to if you look on the website, if you'd like to follow along in the prayer book as well. So we're going to begin our service tonight with the singing of Shalom Alechem, which you'll find on page 24. Shalom Alechem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, malchei hashalom, malchei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem the Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'd like now to invite my wife Betsy to come forward as we light the Shabbat candles, which you will find on page 2. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Before we continue, I also wanted to take this time to acknowledge David York, who does not get the night off. But we're so glad you're here. I appreciate it. David has just been a wonderful, wonderful guide for us with the choir and for all of our music during the high holidays, as he is throughout the year. So thank you, David. We continue with Yedid Nefesh on page 10. Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Meshochav decha, El retzonecha, Meshochav decha, Ya la 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 la, El retzonecha, Ya harutz avdecha, Kemo hayal, Yishtachave ya la 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 la, El mul hadarecha, Ya harutz avdecha, Kemo hayal, Yishtachave la la la, Ya la 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 la, El mul hadarecha. We continue with Lecha Dodi on page 20 and 21. We'll do the first two verses and then the fifth and then the last verse, Boi v'Shalom. And when we reach that verse, if you'll please rise and face the door as we greet the Shabbat bride. Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalala, 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 Penei Shabbat, nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalala, lalala, lalala, Penei Shabbat, nekabela, Shamor v'zachor, bedibur echad, hishmiyanu, El HaMeyuchad, Adonai Echad, Ushmo Echad, L'Shem Ultiferet, Ve'elitila Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Yalala, 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 Penei Shabbat, Nekabela, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Yalala, 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 Penei Shabbat, Nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila lecha dodi likrat kala yalala 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 Penei Shabbat Ekabela Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala Yalala 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 Penei Shabbat Ekabela Hitoreri Hitoreri Kiva Orech Kumi Ori Uri Uri Shirda Beri Kavod Adonai Alay Nigla Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 Penei Shabbat Nekabela Boi v'Shalom Ateret Bahala Gam besimcha u'tzohala Toch emunei Am segula Boi chala Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalala 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 Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Please be seated. Continue with Psalm 92 on page 22. Mizmor shir, mizmor shir leyom hashabbat. Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai u'lazamer l'shimcha elyon. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשר ועלי נבל עלי הגיון בכינור כי שמחתני אדוני בפעלך ומעשה ידיך במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך ומאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מה גדלו מעשיך מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. Please turn to page 23 and read with me on the bottom of the page in English. Adonai is sovereign. God is robed in grandeur. Adonai is robed. God is girded with strength. The world stands firm. It cannot be shaken. Your throne stands firm from of old. From eternity you have existed. The oceans sound Adonai. The ocean sounds its thunder. The ocean sounds its pounding. Above the thunder of the mighty waters, more majestic than the breakers of the sea, is Adonai, majestic on high. Your decrees are indeed enduring. Holiness befits your house, Adonai, for all times. Continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei baraba be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael b'hagala u'v'zman kariv Ve'imru Yehesh me Rabba Mevorach Le'olam ol mehol maya Yitbarach Yitbarach ve'yishtabach V'yitpo'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudisha Richu Leila min kol berchata V'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'yimru. Amen. And we continue with the Baruch Hu on page 28. Please rise if you're able. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai ha-mevorach Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed. Please read with me on page 30 at the bottom of the page. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Continue with Ahavat Olam on page 32. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahamcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torat u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu, uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divarei toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha leolam v'hem. Ki hem chayenu, ve'yorech yomeinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavat al tasir, mimenu leolamim, baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Please remain standing as we continue with the Shema on page 34 and 35. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated as we continue with the chanting of the Ve'ahavta on the following page. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'velechtecha v'aderech u'shokpacha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'yeshavrecha Leman tizkeru Va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiyot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. Please join me in the reading of In a World on page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele. Malchutcha ra'u v'hanecha, bokei hayom lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Zeili anu v'amru, Adonai yimloch leolam vahed. V'ne'emar Kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugealo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Continue on page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Uferos aleinu sukat, sukat, shelomecha, uferos aleinu sukat, sukat, shelomecha, yalai, lalai, yalai, lalai, yalai, lalai, 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 yalai, lalai, yalai, lalai, yalai, lalai, 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 ufaros aleinu sukat, sukat, shelomecha. It's okay. We can deal with it. Page 44. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Yismechu. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. Aha mikadeshe mikadeshe shvi Shabbat kulam yisbeyu veitangu metuvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. V'hashvihi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto kerata zecher l'masei v'reshit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'kore kore oneg Shabbat. I ask you now to please rise if you're able as we continue with the Amidah, the standing prayer. Adonai sifatai tifta ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'yimahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדשים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. Continue with Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu, page 54. Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu retzei v'menuchatenu kadshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkenu b'toratecha Sabenu mituvecha v'samchenu b'shuotecha v'taher libenu lehavdecha be'emet v'hankilenu Adonai Eloheinu Be'ahava uveratzon Shabbat kodshecha Be'anuchu v'Yisrael Mekadshei shemecha Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Shabbat. Please join me with the reading of Grant Abundant Peace on page 60. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Baruch atah Adonai, mevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. We continue now in silent meditation. Elohai nitzol lishonei mera, ושפתי מדבר מרמה, ולים קל אלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה. אלוהי, אלוהי, אלוהי ניצור לשוני מרע, ושפתי מדבר מרמה, ולים קל אלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה. אלוהי, אלוהי, תח ליבי, תח ליבי, תח Elohai nitzol shoni mera, ושפתיי מדבר מרמה, ולמקל אליי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה, אלוהי, אלוהי. At this time, if Lisa Salzman is here, I'd like to call you forward to please read our announcements. Here you go. You're welcome.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm so relieved I made it on time. And I also wanted to take the opportunity to thank Cantor Thompson for leading us in such a beautiful service and with such moving music. And it's wonderful to see all of you here. I think we might be a bit tired from all of our visits to the synagogue in the past week, and if not, online, and to all be together to share in this beautiful Shabbat fills us all. So thank you for being here. All right, so here are some of the upcoming events. We have now opened our Saturday morning Torah study class. It's meeting in person and on Zoom. It begins at 8:45, and tomorrow's class will be led by one of our board of directors, Jared Golden. On Monday, September 20th at 6 p.m., we have our Sukkot evening service, which will be followed by wine and cheese in the sukkah. So if that is not enough to get you there, I'm sure all the other people who will be chatting under the sukkah will be a welcome invitation. We're having a Sukkot morning service on Tuesday, September 21st at 10:30 in the morning. Then at Wednesday at 11 a.m., you can join our social justice book group on Zoom. They're in the process of choosing a new book for discussion. On Thursday at 7:30 a.m., we have a beautiful meditative morning minyan experience led by Bill Shafton, who's here tonight with us. It's available on Zoom. Our Tanakh study group also meets every Thursday at 10:15 in the morning, and if you'd like to participate, you can contact Martine Korash. If you have any questions about how to attend one of our classes and programs, you can look for emails or call the temple office, and our staff is always very happy to help you. So thank you again for joining us to welcome Shabbat and Shabbat Shalom.
Continue now with prayer for healing. It just strikes me how many people are on this list, and it's difficult to wrap our minds around sometimes, but nevertheless, they're here, and we want to wish them a speedy recovery of mind, body, and spirit. On our Mishaberach list for this Shabbat, we have Miriam Elisheva, Colleen Carver, Darren Hammer, Steve Gratch, Laura Bleiberg, Robin Naheen, Harriet Ellis, Bob Wallace, Shoshana Arella Elisheva, Bob Bender, Wendy Bender, Dorothy Kay, Joshua Kay, Marlene Sanchez, Hannah Ham Rosebrock, Lori Gertzman, Renee Simon, David Sachs, Leah Pask, Burton Gifford, Kim Gifford, Jordan Gifford, Brandon Berry, Marcella Gersh, Randy Holbert, Wade Chernick, Sandra Chernick, Nadine Picard, Anita Noriega, Leon Bland, Carlos Sanchez, Rosalind Daskal, Christina Gubelka, Arthur Levine, and Tut Campbell. If you will please join me in the singing of Mishaberach, which you will find on page 253. Mishaberach Ahavoteinu Mekor Abracha Lehavotenu May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu Mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. If you thought you might get by without hearing a sermon tonight, I'm sorry. I don't get a chance very often, so I wanted to share with you some thoughts I had regarding the parashah for this week, Ha'azinu. The last in-person Sabbath worship service at Congregation Mikveh Israel in Savannah, Georgia, took place on the evening of March 13, 2020, just as the city began to shut down because of COVID-19. Rabbi Robert Haas stood on the pulpit and opened the service with an apology. "I'm afraid you'll have to put up with my singing tonight," he said. "Our Cantorial Soloist isn't feeling well, and she's staying home." My wife Betsy and I were visiting Savannah for the first time, and we were falling in love with the city. On a Friday night in Savannah, and particularly the weekend just before St. Patrick's Day, all 21 city squares and the many bars would normally be packed with raucous crowds, especially along the Riverwalk. But this year, on account of COVID-19, the Savannah River would not flow green, and there would be no revelry. The mayor had canceled all official celebrations. So we were becoming worried, quite naturally, about the rapid spread of the deadly pandemic. We felt compelled to attend services that night. Betsy and I were sitting in front. I decided to raise my hand after the rabbi's opening comments. "Rabbi," I said, "if you need a cantor, I'd be happy to help." "Are you a cantor?" "I am." "Well, please, do come up." During the next hour, I served as the Shaliach Tzibur for the third oldest congregation in the United States. It was founded in 1733. The building was absolutely gorgeous, a Baroque style. The acoustics in this sanctuary were more magnificent than any I had ever experienced. Really, I almost didn't want services to end. Well, it's hard to believe that 18 months have passed since that night, and still, Congregation Mikveh Israel remains essentially closed. They are doing what they can, like we are, to keep everyone safe. Their High Holy Day services were also live streamed due to the rising cases of COVID-19 in Savannah. Rabbi Haas says his congregation is trying some sort of hybrid system with a few services being recorded, but only small numbers allowed. Any activity with families will be outdoors, he says. It is just continually in motion. It is just continually in motion. This Shabbat we read Parashat Ha'azinu. This Torah portion consists mostly of a song, poetry in motion. It's a song that Moses wrote and taught to the children of Israel. We read in the parashah that Moses came together with Joshua, son of Nun, and recited all the words of this shirah, this song, in the hearing of the people. Of the 10 songs we encounter during the course of our yearly reading, I have to say that Ha'azinu is certainly not the most harmonious among them. It doesn't sing of victory over our enemies. It's actually rather dissonant. It deals with our self-inflicted battles in the wilderness, and it reminds us of our own internal struggles. The rabbis say that it's more than just a song. It's really the entire Torah. It's a recapitulation of our ongoing struggle to become our best selves. We are continually in motion to become better. Well, the process began yet again yesterday at the final call of the shofar. By singing the Ha'azinu Shira together, Moses and Joshua were in effect joining the written Torah to the oral Torah. It says, "V'tishma ha'aretz imrei fi ya'arov kamatar likhi." Let the earth hear the words I utter. May our teaching drop like rain. Just as rain brings forth the fruits of the soil, the purpose of Torah is to bring forth into reality all that God has hidden. All that God has hidden in the world. Which leads us to conclude that we really can't understand Torah as a fixed concept. To really appreciate Torah, it has to be fluid and changing. The Kabbalists teach us we can't even begin to perceive reality without a language containing images that are fluid and constantly in motion. That is music. This music, the poetry in Ha'azinu, the interplay of notes and time, constantly changing, continually in motion. So my prayer on this Shabbat is that we try to avoid being trapped in fixed concepts, that we embrace our resiliency, that we learn to be more comfortable with our world, in our world, which is continually in motion. We're going to conclude our service with the Elenu, which you'll find on page 282. Please rise if you are able. The light of life is a finite flame, like the Shabbat candles. Life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it's no more. In light we see, in light we are seen, the flames dance, and our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more, and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair. For we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. This evening, in our yard site list, unfortunately, we have two relatively recent deaths, and I first want to acknowledge the family of Alan Love, his wife Willow, daughter Nikki, and son Jackson. And also the death of Adele Meehan family, Jonathan Cass's mom, daughter-in-law Lynn, granddaughter Jillian and Sarah, and grandson Max. And to their names, we have on our yard site list those whose anniversaries of death we observe, most recently during Shloshim, and they are Jakob Bassner, David Blumberg. We recall also the names of Bill Coleman and Marty Karasik. I just wanted to state again, it was Jonathan Cass's mother, Adele Loretta Meehan. Wanted to state that properly. To their names, we add the names of those whose yard sites we observe this Shabbat: Esther Bayleys, Jack Blecker, Ruth Dunlop, Bert Fagan, Rebecca Feller, Neil Gold, Ida Goldhirsch, Carl Gordon, Rhonda Janis, Jan Gerald, Richard Kane, Sylvia Karabenik, Aladar Kellen, Victor Kessler, Noble Langiel, Clarence Lewis, Lee Maddock, Dave Matthews, Randy Newman, Evelyn Palmquist, Helen Rabin, Leah Raskin, Selma Reichelsheimer, Irene Ross, Gerald Rotman, Anna Sapel, Sarah Siegel, Sam Siegel, Stephen Singer, Mayor Summer, and Dorothy Wolberg. I ask you at this time to please stand if you're not already standing as we join together in the Mortar's Kaddish. And you will find that on page 294. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divra Chidute V'yamlik Malchute, B'chayechon V'yomechon, U'v'chaye D'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'galav Vizman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehe Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Alolmei Almaya Yitbarach V'ishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yiromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei D'Kudisha Barichu Leila Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbachata V'nechamata Damiran Be'alma V'imru Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Alenu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav Uyaseh Shalom Alenu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'yim Aru Amen. I'd like you to remain standing as we conclude our service with the singing of Tefillat HaDerech. And you will find that, if you'd like to sing with me, on page 345. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. Amen. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Please join me outside for Kiddush. I believe we're having that, I hope. So, thank you.